Hello. This lesson is about multiplying a decimal by a whole number. Let's consider the number 3.2. The number 3.2. I've shown this number here graphically. So assume this is number 1, which each number has been divided into 10 parts. So each one of this is 1/10. So this whole is number 1. This is another number, altogether 2. And this is also a whole number, 3. So 3. And I've got 0.1 here and 0.1 here. So 0.2. Altogether, they make up the number 3.2. Now, we want to times this number 3.2 by 3. 3.2 times 3. You know that when you timesing a number by 3, all you're doing, you're adding this number to itself 3 times. All right, so let's do that graphically and see what happens. So I'm putting 3 of them next to each other to see how many we are going to have all together. If you look at it closely, you have 1, this is 3.2, this is another 3.2, this is another 3.2. Okay, let's see how much do we have all together. This is like 3 point, this represents 3.2 times 3. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 whole numbers. Remember, each of these is one whole number, 9. Then you got 0.2 here, 0.2 here, and 0.2 here. So 2 tenths, 2 tenths, and 2 tenths. All together becomes 6 tenths. So as a whole, now here I have 9 and 6 tenths. 9.6. That is the whole amount of the number we have here. So that means 3.2 times 3 is 9.6. That's what it showed us. 3.2 times 3 is 9.6. Let's see if we could have done it without these sketches. If you look closely, if you ignore this decimal point in the question and the decimal point in the answer, you will have 32 times 3. And if you times 32 by 3, you're going to get 96. You're going to have 96. Then this gives us a way of working out multiplying a decimal by a whole number. So what you need to do is just ignore the decimal points, times them together, you get the same digits you meant to be having. The only thing missing is the decimal point. Then put back the decimal point. Here in the question, I have my question has got only one decimal place. The answer also has one decimal place. So this is another thing we notice here, that when multiplying a decimal by a whole number, the number of decimal places in the question and in the answer are the same. All right, let's look at some examples. Calculate 6.2 times 7. So I ignore the decimal point, I get 62, and times it by 7. When you times it, 7 times 2 is 14. You got to carry on 1. 7 times 6 is 42, and that 1 makes it 43. So the answer is 434. But that's not my final answer, because I didn't have 62, I had 6.2. And we said that the question and the answer should have the same number of decimal places. This has only 1. So I need 1 digit also here in the answer to have 1 decimal place. So I put the decimal point here so that I have 1 decimal place. So my final answer is 43.4. Another question, example 2, evaluate 9.5 times 4. So again, ignore the decimal point, you get 95 times 4. If you times that, you're going to get 380. But that's not our final answer because we haven't looked at the decimal. We ignore the decimal, we got to make up for that. To do that again in the question, I have only one decimal point. Then in the answer also, I should have one decimal point, one decimal place. In my answer also, I need to have one decimal place. So that means that I need to put a decimal point here. Now I have one decimal place. But at the same time, you know that if you got a decimal point and you put zeros to the right and zeros are the only digits you have, you can just ignore it. It doesn't mean anything. So that is as good as 38. So then your answer becomes 38. And example 3, 6.214 times by 4. Again, ignore the decimal point and times 6,214 by 4. You get that if you times it. 6,214 times 4 gives us 24,856. But we got to look at the question to see how many decimal places we have, which is 1, 2, 3. I have 3 digits to the right of the decimal point. The answer also needs to have 3 digits to the right of decimal point. So then I need to put a decimal point between 4 and 8 to get to 24.856. That is my final answer. Okay, as a general rule also, you got to have some idea what your answer is going to look like. See, 6.214, it is roughly 6. All right, this is 6 something. We can say it is almost 6. And 6 times 4 is 24. So my answer should be 24 and something, which I have here. So if I put the decimal point wrong and I put, for example, between 8 and 5, that would have been 248.56. But 248 is way higher than what I expect because I had 4 times 6, which is 24. So it's a good idea to have to check your answers by looking at both numbers as whole numbers, multiplying them together and see what is your rough answer. And then you know if you made a mistake or not. Thank you for your attention. See you next time.